They're in the gate. And they're off. It was a clean start and an even one as well. Tapatio Leo is coming through on the inside to vie for the lead. Mr. Disrespectful matches strides with him. And just behind them, Geezer is a close-up third. They're followed by Tom and Jazzy, who broke well, but is now 4 lengths off the lead, passed by Spiritual Advisor on the far outside. Then Uncle John, barely functional in between horses. Andy, Can You Hear Me, is widest of all, 8 or 9 lengths off the lead. Irish Heatwave second to last, and Catamaco at the back as Tapatio Leo turns it on. Has opened up a 7-length lead. Tapatio Leo is all alone on the front end. Geezer is now in second, followed by Uncle John, Spiritual Advisor outside of them. Andy, Can You Hear Me, trying to make a little headway and barely functional at the rail. One-horse race as they turn for home. It's Tapatio Leo clear by 8. Barely functional now moves into second and is closing nicely. On the far outside, Spiritual Advisor in third. They're coming to the 16th pole, and Tapatio Leo ran them off their feet. Tapatio Leo cruises to a 4.5 length win. Barely Functional was second. Spiritual Advisor third, and Catamaco finished nicely fourth. Kentucky Bourbon goes in. And they're off. Sippin' and Kissin' is out quickly. Carpe Bellum and Park City also going on with it. And Take Charge Curly is fourth at this stage. Rich Gold will be caught 5 wide into the first turn. And Kentucky Bourbon is at the back of the field. They're heading toward the 6-furlong pole, and there are 3 of them across the track. It's Park City at the rail, Carpe Bellum in between, and Sippin' and Kissin' keeping the pressure on the top 2. 3 deep in third, now taking the second spot as Park City backs off the top pair. Then comes Rich Gold in fourth, 4 lengths off the lead. Take Charge Curly is next, and Kentucky Bourbon. They run down the backstretch with Carpe Bellum leading it by a neck, Sippin' and Kissin' in second. Then it's Park City on the inside, 3/4 to Rich Gold in fourth, 3 lengths off the lead. Take Charge Curly and Kentucky Bourbon. They have less than a half mile to travel. And the battle continues on the front end, but now Sippin' and Kissin' goes on with it. Carpe Bellum is hard-ridden, not responding at this stage, as Park City re-rallies into the second spot and is coming after Sippin' and Kissin' with 5/16 of a mile to go. Take Charge Curly and Rich Gold. They have a 1/4 mile to run, and it's Sippin' and Kissin' just in front. Park City on the outside. These two shoulder to shoulder. Park City on the outside on even terms with Sippin' and Kissin'. These two have it to themselves. 5 back to Carpe Bellum in third. They're coming to the 16th pole, and it's Park City on the outside just in front. Sippin' and Kissin' fighting hard. It's Park City, Sippin' and Kissin', Park City. Nice ride from Joe Bravo to get the money. Sippin' and Kissin' was second. Take Charge Curly rallied for third in front of Carpe Bellum. To the outside. They're in the gate, and they're off. Northeast Star is hustled out for early speed. Spain Moonlight matches strides in the opening furlong. Storming Gray is just behind them, hard-ridden between now third. They're followed by 30 Carats at the rail, and Guitar Girl is at the back. 3 lengths covers the field, and it's Northeast Star establishing the pace, opening up pretty easily now. Has it by almost 2 to Storming Gray in second. Then 30 Carats. Spain Moonlight has dropped right out of it, passed by Guitar Girl. And into the far turn, it'll be tough to catch Northeast Star. Northeast Star opens up a 4-length advantage as 30 Carats now takes up the chase on the inside of Storming Gray. Then comes Guitar Girl, and Spain Moonlight didn't fire on the off track. They turn for home, and Northeast Star 6 lengths in front. 30 Carats moves into second, but as they come to the 8th pole, it's a one-horse race, and that's Northeast Star and Antonio Fresu opening up. This could be about 15 lengths when the smoke clears, as Northeast Star just keeps on motoring home, galloping nicely to score by more like a dozen. Second goes to 30 Carats, and then came Guitar Girl and Storming Gray. They're in the gate, and they're off. A nice start for Tejon Pass, who goes straight to the front. Down at the rail, Mr. Leisure, maximum capacity, is racing in between horses, and Colorado Cruiser moves up on the outside to take second. Bartoldi is fifth, but only 3 lengths off the lead. Bolt at Midnight, second to last, and Winstock at the back of a fairly compact group. It's Tejon Pass, the favorite, taking them to the half-mile pole, leading it by a neck. Colorado Cruiser is in second. 2.5 more. Mr. Leisure is down on the inside. Bartoldi and maximum capacity between those two. Bolt at Midnight and Winstock 6 lengths off the lead. And that lead is held by Tejon Pass, who opens it up now to lead it by 2 lengths over Colorado Cruiser in second. At the rail comes Mr. Leisure trying to make some headway, as is a 3-wide Bartoldi, and then maximum capacity. Winstock still at the back. They turn for home, and it's Tejon Pass 3-length lead. Bartoldi on the outside and Mr. Leisure both chasing gamely. Mr. Leisure in between horses, and on the outside, Bartoldi is coming with nice strides. Here's Bartoldi on the outside, coming after Tejon Pass. Tejon Pass digging in. Bartoldi on the outside. Between them, Mr. Leisure. Tejon Pass took them all the way. Mr. Leisure fought off Bartoldi, and then it was Colorado Cruiser.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
And they're off. 6. Scratch numbers 2, 6, 7, and 9. The 5th is Off the Turf. Will be run at 1 mile on the main track. Post time in 22 minutes. They're in the gate. And they're off. Cornelia Fort comes out smoothly, as does Lakota Spirit. Those two hook up right out of the gate with Speed Lane, Gimme Mo Baby on the outside, and Luminiferous is down at the rail. They go into the clubhouse turn with Cornelia Fort, the pacemaker, by a length and a half to Speed Lane in second. Down at the rail, it's Lakota Spirit, 2 off the pace in third, followed by Luminiferous, and Gimme Mo Baby with 6 furlongs to run is 5 lengths off the lead. They swing on to the backstretch behind Cornelia Fort, a half length in front. Speed Lane keeping the pressure on in second. It's another 2 lengths back, Lakota Spirit in hand at the rail third. Luminiferous is fourth between rivals, and Gimme Mo Baby starts to inch up on the outside. They have less than a half mile to travel, and it's been Cornelia Fort since the gate opened, 3/4 of a length to Speed Lane. Lakota Spirit hugs the rail in third. On the outside, Gimme Mo Baby, and then Luminiferous. Heading to the quarter pole, Cornelia Fort, a neck to Speed Lane second. Now Lakota Spirit is guided off the rail for a 3-wide bid after the top pair as Speed Lane takes the lead. Lakota Spirit moves to engage on the outside with a good clear shot and nice momentum trying to get to Speed Lane. Speed Lane, Lakota Spirit come to the 16th pole together. Speed Lane, Lakota Spirit. Speed Lane hanging very tough. Lakota Spirit up alongside. Speed Lane and those white blinkers holding on briefly. Here's the line. What a game effort from Speed Lane. Turning away Lakota Spirit. Gimme Mo Baby was third. VIP day at the races. The outside from Spirit of McKenna. A little fractious. And they're off in the Santa Anita Sprint Championship presented by Estrella Jalisco. And it's a quick start for Sir Atticus. Speedboat Beach on the outside comes away in second. Dr. Shivel is down at the rail. Arabian Lion is one from the fence. On the far outside, Spirit of McKenna, Fort Bragg in the turquoise colors is right next to him. Visitant is only 3 lengths off the lead as they head past the half-mile pole. It's another 2 back to American Theorem and stretch running CZ Rocket at the back of the field. It's Sir Atticus, a narrow leader, 3 furlongs from home. Speedboat Beach on the outside. Dr. Shivel and neck back third. Then Fort Bragg, angle to the outside fourth. Followed by Spirit of McKenna, Arabian Lion 7 off the lead. And from the back of the field, American Theorem very wide. They're at the top of the stretch, and Speedboat Beach and Dr. Shivel are head and head. Dr. Shivel just in front, Speedboat Beach. And here's Fort Bragg finishing strongly in the center of the racetrack. Dr. Shivel and Speedboat Beach are head and head coming for the wire. Dr. Shivel or Speedboat Beach. Here's the line. Dr. Shivel has won the Santa Anita Sprint Championship again. Speedboat Beach ran lights out and just missed. In behind them, it was Fort Bragg in third, followed by Sir Atticus. The 7th is off the turf. It's the start of the late pick 4. Scratch numbers 2 and 11. They're in the gate. And they're off. It's a fast start for Petite Filet. Annie Fox has some early foot, and Asada Fries is hustled through nicely along the inside. And so those 3 are right across the racetrack. Sassy Prancelot is fourth, 2 lengths off the leaders. Followed by Kits Katie. Look at her glide on the outside. Cocktail Cutie is down at the rail. A big gap to Senora Vittoria. And Wailea Sunset is the distant trailer. They have a half-mile left to go, and Asada Fries takes over. Opens up a length and a half on Annie Fox. Petite Filet on the outside takes second. Down at the rail, it's Cocktail Cutie with Kits Katie in between horses. Sassy Prancelot is now starting to advance. There goes Sassy Prancelot up to take third midway on the far turn. And then look at her glide from the back of the field. Senora Vittoria is getting a hold of the track now and starting to roll late. They have a quarter of a mile to go, and Petite Filet engages Asada Fries. These 2 come to the 8th pole. Petite Filet on the outside, just in front. Asada Fries is battling bravely in second. Then Senora Vittoria, and in the center of the racetrack, Wailea Sunset getting involved with Cocktail Cutie. Petite Filet opens up late, and it will be Petite Filet to score by 3. Asada Fries second. Extremely close photo between Cocktail Cutie and Wailea Sunset, who finished very nicely. Behind them, Senora Vittoria. Walks in. They're in the gate. And they're off in the awesome again. Slow down, Andy. Very smooth out of the gate. And Stiletto Boy has some speed coming away in second. Celestial Moon now takes that second spot with a lap to go, and Defunded is down at the rail. National Treasure is 4 lengths off the lead. Bye Bye Bobby just inside of him. Then it's Paroli and a gap of 4 to the 2 trailers. Senor Buscador and Skinner is at the back of the field. 7 furlongs to run, and Slow Down Andy gets an easy lead of a length and a half. Celestial Moon is in second, Defunded at the rail in third. National Treasure, 3.5 off the pace in fourth, and Stiletto Boy 3 deep. Another 2 back to Paroli, who's followed by Bye Bye Bobby. A gap of 4 to Senor Buscador, and Skinner continues to trail. Down the back stretch in the awesome again. And it's Mario Gutierrez and Slow Down Andy cruising along in hand by 2. Celestial Moon is in second. Defunded, the Preakness winner, National Treasure, trying to make his bid now at the yellow cap. Now moving up on the outside to take second, heading to the far turn. Stiletto Boy is fifth, 4 lengths off the lead. Paroli is called on at this stage. It's another 3 lengths back. At the rail, Bye Bye Bobby is losing some ground. Senor Buscador and Skinner. They have a quarter of a mile to go. Slow Down Andy, Defunded, and National Treasure well clear of the rest. And Slow Down Andy digs in, has a 2-length lead. Now it's 3 with a furlong left to go. Defunded is trying to get to him in second. Then National Treasure, Senor Buscador in the middle of the racetrack. Slow Down Andy by 2 over Defunded. It pays to be Calbred. Slow Down Andy on his way to the Breeders' Cup Classic with a wire-to-wire win in the Awesome Again. Defunded, Senor Buscador. Skinner was on the scene battling for a minor award with National Treasure. It's official, the 9th race, the Grade 2 Eddie D Stakes, will be run out of the chute and not down the hillside course for the Eddie D. Course named for the legendary Eddie De La Houssaye. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Eddie D. Noble Reflection is out very alertly. Paxawallop is up close in the early going. On the far outside, Radical Right in the orange colors is up and on the pace too. Just behind them, Lane Way and I'm a Gambler right together. And inside of them comes Bran in the green colors. He is followed by Mas Rapido. Unconquerable Keen is between horses. Aji's outside of them. Then it's Sumter, who's well off the pace today, and a distance to Balnikov. Less than a half mile to travel, and it's Noble Reflection carving out the fractions, bounding along with a 2-length lead. Laneway, Radical Right, right together. Paxawallop 3 deep, 3 lengths off the pace. Then Bran, I'm a Gambler between horses. Unconquerable Keen outside of them. Sumter is next. Mas Rapido is down on the inside. Aji's and Balnikov still far back. They're at the top of the stretch. Noble Reflection turns for home with a length lead over Laneway, who's bearing down in second. Bran is inside of him. Mas Rapido in the center of the race course. Unconquerable Keen is starting to close, and Sumter. Laneway takes the lead from Noble Reflection, Bran, and I'm a Gambler, and it's Laneway to win the Eddie D. Tight photo for second. Bran was finishing strongly outside Noble Reflection, and then I'm a Gambler. Irideo, the last one. They're in the gate. And they're off in the City of Hope Mile. A nice beginning for Hit the Road. War at Sea is up to take the early lead. Il Bellator has speed, and Astronomer is quicker than all of them, and Astronomer is able to clear off and open up a couple of lengths. War at Sea now second, Il Bellator racing in third. They are followed at the rail by Hong Kong Harry, who's 4 lengths off the early tempo. Hit the Road, snugly in hand, racing in between horses, and Flavius outside of that pair. They're followed by Twist, who's 5 lengths off the lead. Cathkin Peak seems a little bit eager, under a tight hold, and Irideo at the back of the field. They're onto the backstretch, and it's Antonio Fresu, an Astronomer, carving out the fractions a length and a half. War at Sea in second, Il Bellator inside of him. Hong Kong Harry is about 3 or 4 lengths off the lead with less than a half mile to go. Flavius is just outside of him, followed by Hit the Road. Twist inches up in the green silks, 5 lengths off the lead. A 3-wide Cathkin Peak and Irideo. Astronomer's been in charge throughout, has a length and a half lead. War at Sea is now called on, fully extended. Hong Kong Harry cruising up to them third, saving ground as well with the white blinkers there at the top of the stretch. And Hong Kong Harry tips out to try and get Astronomer, who's still strong on the front end. Astronomer, Hong Kong Harry is bearing down in second. And here's Twist joining the party third. Outside, Hit the Road is firing a big shot. Hong Kong Harry takes the lead under a hand ride close to home. And Hong Kong Harry fires fresh to win the City of Hope Mile. Astronomer ran a big race in second. Behind them, it was a battle between Twist and Hit the Road, along with Kafkin Peak.
If you listen to track announcer Frank Miramati on Friday on this seminar, he described his job as simply one thing, celebrating winners. And unfortunately today here at San Anita, we are celebrating a very gentle soul by the name of Jose Arias. He was known affectionately as Champ here at San Anita. He was a horse player, but he was more than just a horse player. He was a very distinguished horse player. He won the 2014 National Handicapping Championship, pocketed $750,000, and then in 2020, led until the very last race and finished second and pocketed another $250,000. Unfortunately, recently, Jose passed away at the tender age of 45. So life can be cruel. We do celebrate winners. We're looking forward to celebrating Jose's memory today. And of course, he is in our hearts and souls for the remainder of our lives. Hi, everybody. My name is Tom Quigley, and I'm joined today by a very special guest. He's the Chief Operating Officer of the NTRA. His name, Keith Chamblin. Keith, thank you so much for traveling in. Not only did you come in for Jose's memorial, but we have people coming in from Canada and around the country as well. It's an emotional day, but I know that you knew Jose very well, and it's great to have you here.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry I'm here under these circumstances, but I'm thrilled to be here to celebrate Jose's life, everything that Santa Anita meant to him. This was his favorite track in the country, this and Los Alamitos, and he will be greatly missed. He was a great champion, and just honored to be here.
He sure was, and it's unbelievable that he's gone way too soon, of course. And you brought with you here in the middle of the desk a plaque that we're going to permanently hang in Eddie Logan. It memorializes the champ who, as I said, we obviously called Jose. And you can see in much happier times, that's him after he won the 2014 National Handicapping Championship. That was how he was attired when he won, but come the dinner a few hours later, all of a sudden he wound up in a suit. He went with some of his buddies across the street and picked out some nice threads.
I know. I think it was probably one of the biggest thrills of his life, if not the greatest.
How could it not be?
Was winning that championship and everybody screaming his name and yelling at the end of the contest, and they wanted to hoist him on their shoulders and carry him off, but it was just a great night, and it was well worth it buying a suit for the champions dinner, and it was a great night.
We all aspire to be the champ, right? Of course, winning the NHC, and the tournament has really exploded over the last couple of years. It's one of the key objectives that the NTRA has. What does the NHC kind of mean to you as being the operator and organizer of it?
Well, it means everything, and having been there from the very beginning and seen it as you were and saw it the first year when it was, I think, just under $200,000
at the MGM Grand
in the race and sports book at the MGM Grand, and to see the growth over the years to the point now where it's over $4 million in prize money and awards, and it's been fantastic. And the camaraderie in that room and the size and the growth of it has been fantastic. This coming March, we'll celebrate the 25th NHC. That's hard to imagine, but having been there from the very beginning, it's been very gratifying to see the growth.
And over those 20 years, Keith, one thing that strikes me is just the relationships that have been built over that 20-year period, not only amongst the colleagues, the horse players that are in attendance at all the tables, and you see all the banter back and forth, but even the relationships that they've struck up with you and Michelle Ravencraft and the other staff members at the NTRA. It's really kind of almost like a national convention every year in Las Vegas.
No question about it. I mean, Michelle Ravencraft, Holly Short, they do all the
heavy lifting,
the heavy lifting and all the work and all the communication throughout the year with horse players. I just get to go to Vegas and celebrate the championship. So I've got it easy, but it is, we've met so many people, made so many friendships over the years. And that's probably the best part of it all is just being introduced to so many horse players and have we all have a common bond. We love horse racing.
I haven't had the pleasure yet to meet Tom Rooney, your boss, and of course he's from the famed Rooney family in Pennsylvania. What's Tom like? What does he think of horse players? He's kind of a politician, so to speak. He's a legislative type of guy. He's certainly helping the industry in Washington, D.C. Make no mistake about that. But how does he, how would you say he defines horse players?
Well, I think, first and foremost, he respects them. And secondly, he loves horses. He is an owner. He's a breeder. He's got a ranch in Florida. The family has had a farm in Maryland for, nearly 100 years.
Multiple generations.
Yeah, and so he truly appreciates how difficult it is to breed and own a nice racehorse. Of course, he bred Coffee with Chris that ran in the Preakness this year.
Yeah.
Didn't run that successfully, but just to make it to the Triple Crown race is a feat in and of itself. He's one of the top Maryland breds in the country. And so that was a thrill for him. But he loves to, dope out the races and try to pick a winner, and just like everybody else. And, he's been great, been very, very successful in raising our profile in Washington, D.C., which is exactly what he was hired to do. And he's been a breath of fresh air, I think, 'cause he's new to it, comes at it from a different perspective, being a former politician from Washington, but it's all been very good.
What are some of the future objectives for the NTRA? To me, one of the best advances that you guys were behind was basically increasing the threshold for signups. It's hard to believe that actually passed, and now obviously benefited horse players because you had to get away with all that paperwork no longer has to be filled out. Besides that, what are maybe some of the future objectives for the NTRA as an organization?
Well, I think at the very, very top of the list is tax treatment for horse breeders and owners, and making it as easy as possible for them to be able to depreciate their investment in our sport.
Let's face it, we have to incentivize them, right? Right now, legislatively, there's not a huge incentive for people to take that risk.
Well, it's being phased out. So what we'd like to do is make it permanent. And we've got some vehicles where that may be possible to do in the near future. So that's what we're really honed in on Washington. Immigration is a huge issue at every racetrack, every farm across the country. So we'll be focused on that going forward as well. We don't anticipate a lot of movement on the immigration front, certainly not as we near a federal election, but certainly it's important to our industry, and we'll keep rolling the ball up the hill and trying to improve that situation as well.
Breeders' Cup Limited and the NTRA have a close relationship because you're both based in Lexington, Kentucky, and many of the employees over there. Great to see the 40th anniversary of the Breeders' Cup coming here to the great race place the first weekend in November.
It's, this is California is the perfect spot for the
Face it, West is best. I say this all the time, right? At least when it comes to the Breeders' Cup.
Well, and certainly when it comes to the weather. So we appreciate that and look forward to coming back. And we're working very closely with the Breeders' Cup on some USDA matters that are affect horses transporting
Shipping in.
shipping in from all over the world for the World Championships. So that's another issue we're working on in Washington with their team. So headed by Drew Fleming, Dora Delgado, and it's another major issue for us, not only for the Breeders' Cup, but let's face it, all these big major races around the country are becoming, the world's getting smaller and horses are coming from everywhere.
The game is global, that's for sure. It's an honor to have Keith Chamblin, the COO of the NTRA, as our seminar guest today. Of course, we're remembering Jose Arias Champ. Race number 9, our final race on today's card, is named in his honor, but we're going to find out who Keith likes on today's 9-race card. Before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the changes, including some important jockey changes on today's excellent card here at Santa Anita.
It's just not going up. Your audio's not going out.
Once again, in the first race, scratch number 2, Dark Marcus. Note that number 8, Ghostly Act, does not race with Lasix, and scratch 13, Chrome to Riches. In the second race, we have the program scratch of number 1, Pacific Rose. Race 2, scratch number 1. It's a program scratch. Jockey John Velasquez not riding today. Joel Rosario picks up all of his mounts. Every John Velasquez mount goes to Joel Rosario, including in the second, number 6, Elegant. Turning to race 3, scratch number 3, Distorted Math. Note that number 9, Dr. Soulfire, now ridden by Joel Rosario. The fourth is the grade 2 Zenyatta, part of the Dirt Dozen for the Breeders' Cup. No show wagering. In race number 4. In the fifth race, first of all, the fourth race does start the $1 pick 6. The fifth race starts the late pick 5, as well as the all-turf pick 3. Number 8, Wide West, make the jockey Joel Rosario. Race 6, the grade 3 Tokyo City Cup. Number 3, Donner Lake, make the jockey Joel Rosario. The John Henry Turf Championship, Grade 2, is today's 7th. 6, Speaking Scout, make the jockey Joel Rosario. In the 8th, number 6, Navy Man, the jockey is Joel Rosario. Scratch number 9, Red Line. Hind shoes will be on number 1. Number 1 has hind shoes on. And in the 9th race, number 8, Crosby Beach, the jockey Joel Rosario. The Golden Hour pick 4 will start with today's 8th race. The Golden Hour double starts with the 9th. The 9th named in loving memory of Jose Champ Arias, the 2014 NHC champion. Remembered today here at Santa Anita Park. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. Post time for the first is in 55 minutes at 1 p.m. Tom's special guest today is Keith Chamblin.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Keith Chamblin. He's the Chief Operating Officer of the NTRA. He's visiting Southern California this weekend, and specifically Santa Anita today, to remember the life of Jose Arias. We affectionately called him Champ here at the Great Race Place. He was a regular visitor in our high roller suite, Eddie Logan, and of course we dearly miss him, and we'll do everything we can to make sure his family is aware of how much he was loved here at Santa Anita. Keith, let's kick things off here in race number 1. I made you do some handicapping, and I know you can handicap because you've been in the business a long time. I remember way back when you were the marketing director at Hollywood Park before you climbed the career ladder that you've so successfully done. But let's look at race number 1. It's 1 mile on the turf course. It's for maiden special weight Calbreds. Also begins the 50-cent early pick 5. The rails today on the turf course are at 10 feet. 2 scratches. Scratch the original morning line, or should say the second morning line choice, number 2, Dark Marcus, as well as number 13, Chrome to Riches. Both will not compete. However, number 12, Big O from Fresno, does draw in and is the 2-1 morning line favorite, currently 9-5 on the board. Also, number 1, Gianola, is a first-time gelding. You could go about 11 different ways here, Keith. Which way are you going?
Well, obviously, I like the 2. I was impacted by the scratch. That right off the bat. But I went with Big O from Fresno. I like the fact Joe Bravo stayed on this horse. I've always been a Jersey Joe fan, and I'm looking forward to talking to him later today in the paddock at some point. And that's who I like in here, the 12-7.
You mentioned Mr. Rooney as a breeder, and just from a handicapping standpoint for you personally, Keith, do you take breeding into account? In other words, like what type of handicapper are you? In other words, do you look at speed figures? Do you look at distance changes, equipment changes? You know, like when you crack open the racing form, like just what are some of the things you kind of like to look at?
I'm more of a class handicapper,
sure,
I would say, than a speed figure guy. But I do look at the horses that have shown speed in the past and look at the way the race might set up. But I'm definitely what I would call a class handicapper, and kind of pay attention to breeding when it's a turf race or an off-track situation, but less so on just when it's dry and fast.
A couple of things, Keith. First of all, Big O from Fresno, you can see is a Calbred, and this is a Calbred race. Last time out, ran against Open. So from a class standpoint, actually, Big O from Fresno probably is taking a bit of a class drop. And Big O from Fresno is trained by Dan Blacker. Dan was very active at the Keeneland sales in your neck of the woods. Do you get the chance to go over to the Keeneland sales and rub shoulders and kiss babies and shake some hands?
Well, I try to make it out there at least once every sale, but people are so busy and there's so much business and hundreds of millions of dollars.
It's like the NFL draft, let's face it, right?
It's fun to watch, but I don't like bothering people, particularly during the early parts of the sale. So I'll go out there and I'll kind of Google and awe at the amount of money exchanging hands, and then I'll try to stay away and just see people around town.
But it kind of lights the city up. I was going to say, you see people around town, they're either having breakfast or maybe dinner, and you can kind of rub shoulders with them that way.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at race number 2. Keith begins the 50-cent early pick 4. There is one program scratch, the 1, Pacific Rose, leaves us with a field of 6. As you heard track announcer Frank Miramati say, John Velasquez off all mounts, but his agent Ron Anderson is not known as Super Agent for no reason. He decided to ship his other jockey out here, Joel Rosario, now on all of the Johnny V original mounts, and he rides number 6 Elegant from the Bob Baffert barn, who's 8-5 on the morning line. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Keith, I wanted to show a replay that 3 of these runners exit. First of all, number 3, Esprit and Shante. Number 4, You Are in Trouble, and number 7, Nothing Like You. All exit the 4th race at Del Mar back on September 10th. And to me, as you're watching this replay we're about to show, kind of pay attention to number 3, Esprit and Shante, I should say, a daughter of Tappet. This was her debut, and she kind of broke slow. She's going to be in the Silver and Red Silks, ridden by Mike Smith on debut. She's drawn in post position number 8 out of 10. I thought she ran very, very well, including as they got closer to the wire. That race was at 5.5 furlongs. Today's distance is 6.5 furlongs. Let's watch the replay and listen to Trevor Denman describe the action back on September 10th.
And away they go. You're in Trouble broke smartly, ducked in a little, but You're in Trouble gets the lead. Into Yellowstone is right up alongside of that. To Loose Day Track on the far side is right there. Rascality, 4 of them in a straight line. Rascality's on the outside. Sandy Bottom kicks through at the rail, 5 in a straight line. Nothing Like You is racing right behind the leaders with Blister in the sun. Pacific Rose in the blue is now 6 lengths off the leaders. 4 back to Esprit and Shante. And last of all is Halone. They run past at 3/8 pole, and Sandy Bottom gets the lead. Sandy Bottom kicks on for home. Blister in the Sun comes to take her on from the 2nd spot. Rascality has dropped back a little, now in 4th. In behind that, Pacific Rose going to hook to the outside to come with her run. They come for home now, and it is still Sandy Bottom, full of run out here. Sandy Bottom goes for home. Blister in the Sun. Pacific Rose coming with a late run, but it's all Sandy Bottom. And Sandy Bottom and Umberto Rispoli win it about 4-5 in the end. Blister in the Sun might have just held second and got very...
Sometimes the past performances are deceiving, Keith. You can see Esprit and Shante kind of came on lane, and that's her in the red helmet on the outside, kind of galloping out close to the winner. No one was going to beat Sandy Bottom this particular afternoon, but I thought it was a decent effort. But you're actually going for a much bigger price. You said hold my beer, and I'm going to look at another horse in another race.
I kind of zoned in on the 5, Sugarfish. I think, she got away slowly in her last start, but she closed fairly decently. And I'm hoping second time out, she makes a move forward. And that's my choice here, Sugarfish.
12-1 on the morning line. Also gets a bit of a jockey upgrade to a journeyman jockey, Antonio Freis, who decides to get on board, a daughter of Accelerate. And certainly this is a small field, but as you can see, both Keith and I kind of like bit of prices in this particular field, maybe taking a shot, trying to beat Bob Baffert, which is always dangerous. Let's turn the page and take a look at race number 3, Keith. This is 6 furlongs in the turf course, the flat turf course for maiden special weights. 1 scratch the 3, Distorted Math. Also take note, number 6, Classical. And number 8, Vegas Burner, our first-time geldings. Joel Rosario rides number 9, Dr. Soulfire, who's the lukewarm 7-2 morning line favorite. Talk to us about race 3, Keith.
I'll take Joel. I like the jock change, and I like the 9, Dr. Soulfire. Second start off almost a 12-month layoff. Ran very well in his only start, and top connections. Just a lot to like about this horse, and looking forward to seeing this race.
You also give a little love, as we can see graphically, to number 5, Bad Uncle Barry from the Mark Glatt barn. Second-time starter, a little bit stretching out in distance as well. Kind of a similar pattern to some of your other selections up to this point.
Yep.
Kind of broke tardy, made a little bit of a late run, and now gets some extra distance, and another significant jockey switch over to Umberto Rispoli.
Should improve off the jock change, and there's not a lot to go by in these races, so you're definitely looking for improvement. I do like to pay attention to the 1. I always pay attention to a equipment change when I see blinkers on in one of these horses. Sometimes they can jump up and make a big improvement.
Keith, there's no rehearsals for this seminar, so I'm going to catch you a little bit off guard with this question, so kind of buckle and be prepared. But obviously, those of us who reside and play the horses out here on the West Coast feel like we're on a bit of an island. And as you well know, Southern California, and even on the entire state of California, is challenged simply because we have no alternative sources of revenue or income in order to supplement our purses. How important is California racing to the industry, particularly from the NTRA's perspective?
It's tremendously important, not only because of the horses that run out here, but because of the gamblers that are based out here in California and the amount of money the horse players, the owners, the breeders inject into the sport. I can't imagine a healthy national horse racing industry without a healthy California.
Got a lot of consolidation going on. I mean, we see the news with Golden Gate, and then we saw some news about Turf Paradise, and obviously things are in flux. But these are difficult times right now, and we're trying to fight the fight. But we could use help.
I'll tell you that I think you're doing everything you can here without alternative revenue sources, and that could be a ways off. I don't see getting something passed out here in California anytime in the near future. But I think we're seeing consolidation everywhere. That's not just in California. So as long as Del Mar and Santa Anita are healthy, hopefully California racing can get healthy and be healthy.
And you mentioned those two specific thoroughbred tracks, Keith, and of course Los Al is an important member as well. But at all three tracks, they have very good executives at the top. Yeah. Whether it's Josh or Aiden or Nate or whoever. I mean, obviously all these people who are employed by those racetracks have a strong passion for the game, and that obviously means a lot.
Yeah, I shouldn't leave Los Al out of the conversation because they play a role in this entire ecosystem, and they're important as well.
Let's take a look at race number 4. And on our 9-race card, it begins one of the new wagers out here at St. Anita. That's the $1 pick six. No more 20-cent rainbow jackpot type of pick six pools. This is a traditional $1 pick six. The support from the betting public has been fantastic the first 2 days that this wager has been offered, like it will be today. We kick things off with a graded stakes race, the Grade 2 Zenyatta. It's a Breeders' Cup dirt dozen race for fillies and mares going a mile and a 16th on the main track. Just a field of 4, but 2 from the Richard Mandela barn and the morning line favorite from the Bob Baffert barn. Number 1, Adair Manor, who's 2-5 on John White's morning line. Got 25% chance of picking a winner here. Who's it going to be?
Well, Adair Manor, I normally hesitate when I see a horse breaking from the one hole. But she's won out of there before, and I think she's going to do it again today. So I'm going with the 1.
She certainly has a nose for the winner circuit. You can see 12 lifetime starts. Half of them resulted in victories with 4 good seconds. But it's a good race. She carries high weight of 126 pounds. She has Juan Hernandez, who's been winning races in bulk out here, on her back as well. So she certainly looks like a legitimate favorite. Before we take a look at race number 5, Keith, another question for you. We kind of touched upon it, maybe off camera, but you used to be employed at Hollywood Park. And now when you fly into LAX, unfortunately, as you fly over the old Hollywood Park, you now see the new SoFi Stadium. What are your memories of Hollywood Park when you worked there for quite some time?
It's frustrating.
I bet.
Because, R.D. Hubbard was about 20 years ahead of his time.
Sure was.
And he wanted to build a football stadium there and bring the Raiders to play at Hollywood Park. And have a racetrack right there as part of that whole
And the Forum was next door.
Yeah, and the Forum was right there. And now to see it 20 years later become a beautiful, incredible football stadium, nicest in the world maybe, and the basketball arena going in for the Clippers.
Yeah.
It's just it's very frustrating, and I wish it would have happened because it would have been great for California racing, but so be it. We move on.
You had quite the staff over there. You had Rick Baedeker as your boss, and of course Fritz Witteman and Mike Ziegler. I mean, Martin Panza. The list was endless. You guys, like you said, were ahead of your time.
No, it was a great group of people, and of course, prior to Hollywood Park, I worked at Remington Park in Oklahoma City, and of course, a lot of terrific people and executives.
David Vance
come out of Remington Park over the years.
Sure.
That was a great place as well.
Race number 5 begins the 50-cent late pick 5, and as you heard Frank Miramati say during the scratches portion of the seminar, it also begins a $3 all turf pick 3. That's the new wager linking the final 3 races, I should say, on the turf course here at Santa Anita in a $3 minimum pick 3. It's also been well received by the betting public so far. This is day number 3 of the new wager, and we kick the first leg for both of those wagers off coming down the hill. I should have mentioned in the beginning, all races are remaining on the turf course, and all races are remaining at their originally scheduled distance. That's good news after yesterday's rainstorm. And race number 5 is the Unzip Me Stakes for 3-year-old fillies. We've got a field of 10. Make the jockey at number 8, Wide West, Joel Rosario. Before we get your thoughts on the race, I found a very interesting long shot in here, Keith, and it's number 10, Make It Snow, who's 20-1 on the morning line, a maiden who's tackling her own age group in a stakes competition. What I found most interesting about her was her last performance down at Del Mar. That was back on August 17th, and it was just a field of 5. Now, the winner that particular day was a 1-5 favorite, so no one was going to beat the winner that particular day, but I thought she ran really well. She even had some sort of trouble that you'll see at the top of the lane. As I mentioned, that race was 5 furlongs. Now they're coming down the hill at 6.5. I think she could be very dangerous. I'm not sure she's going to win, but I think you're going to have to throw her into your exactas and trifectas for sure. Let's listen to Trevor describe Make It Snow's performance back on August 17th at Del Mar.
And away they go to a perfect beginning. The favorite, Kissed by Fire, hops out of the gate, and Kissed by Fire opens up a length in the first few jumps. Christina's Candy racing in second, Calming Sea back in third, 30 Carats second last, and Make It Snow is 5 off the leader. They head past the half mile, and Kissed by Fire, going powerfully, leads a length and a quarter. Calming Sea is now kicking through on the inside alongside Christina's Candy in the white blinkers. Then 30 Carats and Make It Snow 6 off the lead. Coming to the top of the lane, Kissed by Fire, not being asked by Mike Smith, but widening. And Kissed by Fire, looking powerful, leads by 7 at the top of the lane. 30 Carats, Make It Snow starting to run on late. Kissed by Fire just being pointed in the right direction, and she's doing the rest. Make It Snow running on gamely for second, but Kissed by Fire never gave them a chance today. Wins it very impressively. Make It Snow second. Then
Keith, as I mentioned, Make It Snow obviously will be a big price on the board, but Victor draws outside, which is where he likes to be. But you kind of like a runner coming out of not a maiden race, but a grade 1 race, the Del Mar Oaks. That'd be number 6, Ruby Nell.
I do. I bet Ruby Nell in the Del Mar Oaks, and I thought she had a shot to win, but she faded in the last furlong after getting on the lead, and but she's done very well. I like the fact that she ran well on the turf. They moved her to the dirt, and since they brought her back, she'd done nothing wrong since they brought her back to the turf, and look for her to run a big race today.
You're 1,000% correct, and expectations were high because her current owner, Spendthrift Farm, spent $1.2 million for her at auction, but she's turned into a different animal, as you mentioned, stretching out on the turf course, particularly her last 2 efforts with Edwin Maldonado in the saddle and a set. No one was going to beat her in the Del Mar Oaks. So the fact, like you said, that she's led so far and so deep into the race certainly speaks volumes. And we've seen many, many times on this downhill turf course, runners cutting back in distance from a route to a sprint. Certainly a door coming down the hill. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. It's also the grade 3 Tokyo City Cup Stakes, 1.5 miles on the main track. Not many races carted at that distance anymore. Take note, Joel Rosario rides number 3, Downer Lake, who was supplemented to the race. The Maury Line favorite, though, is from the John Sadler barn, number 1, Missed the Cut, 8-5 on the Maury Line. Umberto Rispoli in the saddle. We're blessed. We might not have the best jockey colony in the world compared to back east, but we've got some very, very talented riders.
No question about it. They always have out in Southern California. I think these jocks these days are a little underrated.
Fair enough. We kind of get spoiled looking at them every day and watching some of the riders back east, but you're absolutely right. They put their lives on the line every single time they get on the back of a horse. Who'd you like in race 6, Keith?
I went with Bob Baffert in the 5 horse. I really like Azure Coast. I'm going to throw out as the last and look for him to return to his previous form and run a big race.
And you also like, looking at it graphically, number 2, Kiss Today Goodbye, a son of Cairo Prince, who actually 2 of his 3 career wins came right here at Sandy. What'd you like about Kiss Today Goodbye?
Well, just a solid horse over the years, 22 starts, over almost $400,000 in earnings. This horse is hard knocking, and I think has a shot to get back in the winner's circle. It's been a while. But I like the fact that this horse has just been a steady runner and competing at the top class horse, but competing against some of the best horses out here.
Stakes action continues in race number 7. This time we're going 1.25 miles on the turf course. It's the John Henry Turf Championship. It's a grade 2 event. We've got a field of 8. 3 of them trained by Phil D'Amato. Number 6, Speaking Scout, again ridden by Joel Rosario in substitution of Johnny V. Morning Line favorite, one of the 3 Phil D'Amato trained runners, number 7, Gold Phoenix. 5-2 on the Morning Line. Long distance turf races are sometimes some of the most exciting races around. Who do you think is going to win race 7, Keith?
I'm going with Golden Phoenix. I like D'Amato. Obviously, he's got a couple different shots in here, but Gold Phoenix was the beaten favorite in her last, and I'm going with her.
Keith, a question for you, and maybe maybe you don't, but is there any discussion within the industry, particularly with the Breeders' Cup, about maybe the Breeders' Cup doing more of a rotational type of selection for their sites? And I'm not even talking domestically; I'm talking maybe about internationally as well. You talked about earlier, if you remember, how the game is going global and the world is getting smaller. What's kind of the mindset of the people at the Breeders' Cup and at the NTRA?
I can't speak for the Breeders' Cup. My sense is that they'll continue to try to host the championships here in the States. New York might be coming back online here in the next several years. I think as soon as they're able to host the Breeders' Cup at the new Belmont Park.
Under construction currently, but sure.
That'll be a great move for in terms of a new venue, but certainly California continues to be at the top of the list. I know they're out here for the next 2 years. Where they go the third year, who knows?
Race number 8 begins the $1 Golden Hour Pick 4, linking our last 2 races here at San Diego with the last 2 races at Golden Gate. Always pays well. Higher minimum, lower takeout. And we kick things off here in race number 8, sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the main track. It's an allowance optional claiming race. Non-winners of one other than make the jockey number 6, Navy Man Joel Rosario. First time gelding. Number 4, Hard to Figure. This is a hard to figure type of race, Keith. The morning line favorite is number 5, Bus Buzz, one of many 3-year-olds in the field. Talk to us about race 8.
I went with Positivity on the outside.
He's sharp right now, isn't he?
Horse, and claimed in his last start, and coming off a victory. So we'll see if we can make it 2 in a row for Positivity.
And you also like number 5, who is Bus Buzz. He's certainly got plenty of speed, and you've been around Southern California long enough. You know that you need that type of early speed in order to be in contention in these dirt races.
No doubt.
Race number 9 closes out the day and closes out the week. Keep in mind, live racing will resume here at Santa Anita next Friday. Next week is a 4-day race week. That's right. We race Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and holiday Monday. First post for all 4 days will be 1 p.m. Pacific, but we close it out here in race number 9, as I mentioned, race named in honor, I should say in loving memory of Jose Arias, the 2014 NHC champ. And as Jose would certainly appreciate, because he was an avid supporter of the Golden Hour wagers, we offer $5 Golden Hour daily double wagering in race number 9, similar concept, linking our last race with the last race at Golden Gate. And we're going 1 mile on the turf course. This is an allowance optional claiming race for non-winners of 2 other than make the jockey on number 8, Crosby Beach, Joel Rosario. And speaking of Crosby Beach, I want to show a replay here, Keith, for Crosby Beach. This would have been 2 races ago, not the most recent effort for Crosby Beach, but 2 races back on July 21st at Del Mar. It's the 10th race, and it's in the colors of the famed Eclipse thoroughbred partner Silks. So he'll be easy to spot. He's actually going to be program number 4. He's going to break from gate number 3, but it's going to say number 4 on top of the stall because there was a scratch inside of him. But I thought he ran pretty well, sneaky well, as a matter of fact. And last time out, he was running in a graded stakes race. Now he's back in with his friends. I like the chances of Crosby Beach at 10-1. Let's watch that replay and listen to Trevor Denman describe the action when he breaks from post position number 4.
And away they go. On the outside gate, Majestic Eagle broke well and sets off for the lead. Don't Swear Dave going on within the purple cap. Balladeer is racing inside of him. Astronomer down at the rail. They're going a quick pace up here. Twist is racing right in behind the leaders. Just in behind those 2 comes Tessero. They've been followed then by on the inside of Twist is 7 Charms. And then we come back to Flashiest, a good 12 lengths off these leaders. Crosby Beach is alongside of that. Yes, this time the trailer. They head to the 3/4 pole, and Astronomer sets a decent pace now. He leads it just over a length. Balladeer second, Twist down at the rail third. Don't Swear Dave is in the 4th position, and then comes 7 Charms. Majestic Eagle on the far side now, 5 off them. Tesoro is alongside of them as well. They followed by Lure Him in the white blinkers. Flashiest in the pink has 8 lengths to make up, been followed by Crosby Beach down at the rail. And yes, this time last, a good 12-13 off the leader. Less than a half mile to go now, and Astronomer leads them by a length to Balladeer. Twister's right there at the rail. 7 Charms down at the rail is only 3 off the leaders, and then comes Lure Him in. Flashiest in the pink colours after the leaders now takes third, and now Yes this time is starting a run from far back. Top of the lane, and Twist has the lead. Flashiest on the outside. Let's see. Yes this time. Can he get through? Yes, he can. They come for home, and Twist is the leader. Yes this time. Chamblin coming after them. 7 Charms down at the rail. Crosby Beach making a late run. They come for home. Twister shifting out pretty badly, but hanging on, and Twister's going to go on to beat. Twist won it. Yes, this time finished up in the...
Hard to believe, Keith. Crosby Beach got third after all that trouble. He really had a subtle trouble type of trip, and now they switch over to Joel Rosario. I like his chances. You're against the chalk as well, and the chalk is a lukewarm 4-1 morning line favorite by the name of Fantastic. You like number 5, Sarwar. Tell us why.
I do. He ran very well here, 2 back, coming off a victory at Del Mar, but I just like the fact this horse has not run a bad race since he came over from Europe, and I look for him to run another good race and be right there.
Leonard Powell certainly wins his fair share of races, and he's got Juan Hernandez in the saddle. That's always a good thing as well. It's always a good thing when you're here in Southern California,
Love
Keith.
it.
I'm glad that you're here. I know that you're enjoying yourself. We'll obviously have an exciting day and a bit of a somber night celebrating Jose's memory, an important piece of the NHC history as well. So thanks so much for your time. I look forward to spending the day with you.
Thank you, and thank you for doing this for Jose. The First Racing and the Stronach Group have been a great supporter of the NHC, and thrilled to be here and appreciate your support.
Thank you for your support, and we certainly celebrate horse players at Santa Anita, that's for sure. Thanks to all of you for watching. Hope you have some fun today, make some money, good luck, and we'll do it all again on Friday.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we direct your attention to the winner's circle as well as the flag in the infield as we welcome Vonzel Solomon, who will perform the Star Spangled Banner. Vonzel, also known as Baby V, is an internationally known singer, songwriter, producer, recording artist, model, and actress, a finalist on American Idol. Vonzel has toured with American Idol, Broadway shows, and postmodern jukebox. Please rise to honor America as we proudly present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh,